he was like, ¿Quién es ella? Like he was so like enamored and curious
Yeah.
because he had not seen anyone that looked like her. And so I could just imagine Oscarito being like, Fatima, ¿de dónde viene? You know, like creative. W woke, period. Consciously be aware what you saying. A, accents matter, stress and expression, romance swagger. G, grammar check, conjugate the verbs, use the right verb tense. A, tengo un secreto, escúchame bien por un rato. Hola, 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 everybody. Hola, everybody, ¿cómo están? Espero se encuentren bien. Yo me llamo Jessie Feliz y yo soy la host. I am the host of Spanish Swag. Boop! Ballin'! Yes, we are having a wonderful time exploring el idioma de español, las culturas de la gente que habla ese lenguaje, learning more and more about people who have acquired this bilingualism and learning, just how we can all learn, laugh, and grow together. So guess what, y'all? Tenemos hoy una invitada muy especial. Ella es profe de español, ella es afroamericanita como yo, y ella también es propietaria de un negociocito. She has her own business, y'all, and you know what? I love it. It's all in her name. It is none other than the one and only Maestra Salaam. Can we give it up, y'all? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien, pura vida. Maestra Salaam, Fátima.
Sí, sí.
¿Y Fátima con acento sobre la A? ¿O no?
En español sí tiene un acento.
Oh, sí, en español con acento, en inglés o en árabe, porque es un nombre árabe, ¿no?
Sí,
Fátima. Sí. Wow, awesome, awesome. Okay, so, Maestra Salaam, tell us about your journey. Tell us about cómo llegaste a ser profe de español. Why did you want to become a Spanish teacher? How did you get to this place and space? And then we'll hear all about tu negocio. ¿Qué es?
Yeah! Thank you. Okay, so mi nombre es Fátima. También me conocen como la Maestra Salaam. Llevo enseñando por aproximadamente 10 años.
Hold up, pause.
Sí.
10 años in the game, in the field.
You got that right.
Empecé en una escuela privada, en particular una escuela turca.
Okay.
I've never met Turkish people before, like before I started teaching at this school. And it was just
fue una escuela en los Estados Unidos.
Nueva York.
Oh, wow. Okay.
De Nueva York. Yo soy afroamericana, yo soy panameña, yo soy musulmana.
Panameña, yo no lo sabía. Yo sigo conociendo más y más personas con sangre de herencia panameña. Wow. Okay.
De los Estados Unidos. So,
¿Tu mamá o tu papá?
Mi mamá.
Okay. Okay, qué bueno. ¿Y ha visitado Panamá?
Sí, approximately maybe like 4 or 5 different times. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been to, I know you know.
Qué bueno. Sí, pero ¿de qué parte de Panamá viene su papá? De
la ciudad.
De la ciudad de Panamá, cerca del canal. Okay. Yeah. All right, that Panamanian connection for me, I always rep Costa Rica, pura vida. Costa Rica está ubicado al norte de Panamá. And I've had some crazy situationships. Okay, yes. That's why I understand. I have a lot of empathy when we hear about the terms inmigrante or someone's illegal. Hope the FBI don't take him down. Pero I live a la frontera entre Panama y Costa Rica. And so, that 90-day tourist pass, cada 90 días, yo tuve que cruzar la frontera. Mm-hmm. And so when you would cross from the Costa Rica, and I know they've changed it. It was this había un puente. It was like this bridge, and we would call it the bridge of death, because I promise you, this was and it was in Sixola, and that's like the border town between Panama and Costa Rica. And I promise you, this bridge, I have to find a picture of it. This bridge, we call it the bridge of death because it looked like it was the original bridge constructed in America Central. I mean, classic rust. But you know what? crossing the border was like nothing. Like it was no fue nada. Like you would just cross. But I remember, and I had this one pair of neon green Crocs that I would wear, especially because I was pregnant. I had my baby, my daughter, in Costa Rica, and yeah, that's a whole nother episode of life. Y yo tuve el parto en casa. That's like another story. But I remember being like, cuando yo tenía como 8 meses, and I was crossing the border like, oh, and my foot with the Croc got wedged down and stuck between two wooden planks with the rust. And I'm like, oh, and they're like, déjelo, just leave the chancla. And I'm like, I can't lose my only pair, mi único par de chanclas. I love these Crocs. Because in this border town, Changuinola se llama, there's an actual Crocs name brand store. And I was like, I just gotta keep this pair of Crocs. So somehow we were able to get my foot first and save the Croc.
Wow.
So that it didn't fall in El Rio Sixiola. Yes, I have a lot of adventures in the northern part of Panama. Pero un día tengo muchas ganas de visitar a la ciudad de Panama.
Yeah, you would love it. You would love it. It's so much. Yeah. The last summer too, actually, me and my husband and my daughter, we visited the canal. They actually just built another area, I think near Colón, on the Colón side.
Okay. So tell me, cada vez cuando tú estás, ¿por cuánto tiempo has sido musulmana? Was like, were you raised musulmana?
Sí. Mis padres.
Por su papá or su mamá or los dos?
Both. So both of them, okay. They converted when they were young.
Okay.
So I was born Muslim, and yeah, I've been Muslim ever since.
It's a beautiful thing, but I want to know, like, we want to know, like, cómo está, like, cómo ser musulmana y profer español, because you don't really see that. Again, I'm very big on la representación, right? La representación importa. And so, first of all, when I first found your Instagram page, hace muchos meses, I was like, wait a minute, this is a beautiful Black American queen and she's Muslim. I gotta meet her. Like, this is, you don't see that. So how have you been navigating this? Do you get any like questions, I should say?
Not really. I think a lot of people do think it is a little weird. It's different, like you said. But I guess I just feel like it's just a part of me, you know, because I am Muslim, you know, I have Panamanian heritage. You know, I'm from New York, you know, New York. Exactly.
Cuando tú estás en Panamá, did you have any situations or do you get any questions? I'm only asking because, so por 3 años yo viví en Costa Rica, and I remember one time we hosted 3 girls. I had so many jobs, and I lived in the Caribbean side. You know, they say you got to have 3 jobs minimum, like, and I had like 3-4 jobs. One of the many jobs I had was I was administradora y recepcionista y contadora. Like, I had jobs that I did not go to college for, okay? And so, but using my bilingualism to get me these jobs. And so we hosted these 3 girls at one of the casitas that I was managing. And one of the girls was colombiana. Otra fue afroamericanita de DC or Maryland. Y la otra no era musulmana ni árabe, but she was Indian, like de India. But her look had not been seen by as many people. And this is un pueblito, pero con turistas, but it's like, you know, está en el campo más o menos, pero en el lado Caribe. And so I remember el jardinero con quien trabajé en, ¿cómo se llama? Oscarito. When this woman came and she had no headdress, but she just looked like different. And he was like, ¿Quién es ella? Like he was so like enamored and curious. Yeah. Because he had not seen anyone that looked like her. And so I could just imagine Oscarito being like, Fatima, ¿de dónde viene? You know, like wanting to know more. So when you're in Panama, have you seen other Muslims there as well? Or has your family asked about it?
No, pero yo soy de la comunidad de Wafdi Mohammed. No sé si sabes él. La comunidad es un poco diferente de otras otros musulmanes y en la manera en que practica.
Okay. ¿Cuál es la diferencia? Más o menos.
¿Cómo se dice? The dress, like the way we dress, la manera en que se viste es un poco diferente. I don't always, wear my scarf this way or, wrapped in a turban or, you know what I mean? I guess it's always a little difficult for me to explain because I don't want to sound like our community is completely different from regular, from the traditional. I'll say that the traditional Islamic community. But our teacher, we consider him our scholar, Wardi Muhammad. He just always taught us that, there's different expressions in terms of how, Islam is practiced in the world. What unites us as Muslims is our, the 5 pillars, our belief in God. Rezamos, ayunamos, what else? Damos caridad, we give charity, we go, we make hajj, all of those different things, are what unites us. But in terms of dress, in terms of food, in terms of, things like that, it could be a little different. Like somebody who's from Saudi Arabia, they may look different from somebody who's from Alaska. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People get caught up in like the little things, like how we look and this and that. And, oh, you don't have on all black, or you know what I mean? Certain things like that. But it's not really about that. It's really about like the principles, what we believe and how you treat people and things of that nature. So honestly, like when I go to Panama, when I go to different places, I kind of I do wear my scarf and stuff like that, but sometimes I wear a hat, sometimes I wear, I just like to be me,
I love you said like how sometimes people, we make associations off the tangible, but it's really the practices. And that really is what culture really is. And I know like we separate religion from la cultura, la raza, étnica, like we separate these things, but so much of it is interwoven.
Exactly.
But when I think about culture, and I love what Zaretta Hammond, the author of Culture Responsive Thinking in the Brain, she talks about your culture is deeper than the tip of the iceberg, what we can see, right? And culture is really like those practices en casa, las creencias, those beliefs, the conversations, the perspectives and mindsets, so no matter what or how one physically may present oneself, because you could have folks that present themselves one way, but la manera de vivir está al contrario, so like I think it's really awesome. And I just have to tell you, like straight up, I absolutely love seeing you because José Detroit, and we have the largest Arab American population outside of the Middle East, right? And so, but I was also raised with Chaldeans, and I was raised with Los Árabes, and so people could look at them and like grow. I mean, like when I say race, like we grew up, our largest population outside of white and black here would be Chaldean and Arabic. Well, people of the Middle Eastern descent. And so, but here also in Detroit, we got our Muslim brothers and sisters, and they're Black American, and so like we grew up seeing a lot of differences. And so like even I would say for people closer to the city or closer to the areas where you have a lot of Muslim Americans living, it's the norm to see people with headdress or without, or full head, full dress. But at the same time, I just remember Oscarito was like, and this woman, again, in my mind, I'm thinking he was making a stereotype or associating her phenotype, the way she looked, with someone who might have been like Muslim or Arabic, even though she clearly wasn't. And she was getting like offended by it, but he was asking her all these questions because this is the first time him seeing someone. So I could imagine Oscarito being like, Fatima, like, because seriously, in El Caribe, at least when I lived there were no women that wore a headdress that I encountered. But again, times have changed. I moved back in 2016, so migrations of people change. But okay, Fatima, so where all have you traveled before? I know you have Tu tienes familia de Panamá. Have you traveled to any other países hispanos?
Sí, yo viajé a Costa Rica también.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing all the talking. You didn't tell me. Costa Rica.
Costa
Have you been?
Rica.
I think it's Tamarindo.
El Tamarindo. Okay, so tú estabas en el lado Pacífico.
Sí. Sí.
Okay.
And they say the water is a little more rough on the Pacific side, so people go surfing and
Eres surfista.
No.
Okay, you braver than me. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, me quedé
Oh.
con una familia y fue una buena experiencia para mí.
Sí, claro. Okay, la próxima vez tú tienes que irte al lado Caribe. I tell everyone you gotta go to the Caribbean side because I promise you, if you type in Costa Rica travel or whatever, they're not going to highlight El Caribe.
Really?
No, they're not. I mean, because that's where you have la población más grande de caribeños.
Okay.
And so it's still this stigma, even when you think about the textbooks. When most of the times the traditional textbooks, when they focus on Costa Rica, and I don't know if you've used a variety of curricula as well, but those traditional textbooks, even the ones that are newly printed, the chapter on Costa Rica, it never shows Afro-Caribeños.
Oh, wow.
It shows what would be the equivalent of un blanco. Tico, which that also is a population, which the majority of the population is going to be that. Pero everyone that is Tico knows the significance of la cultura caribeña in su país, And even I took a linguistics class and we were focusing on, America Central, there's dialectos diferentes in Panama versus in Nicaragua versus in Belize or in Guatemala. Bueno, Belize no es hispano, but still just in that region. But then in Panama, Costa Rica, all the way up to Venezuela, we call it los costeños, right? And so the costeño has their own dialecto, their own sound as well, having been influenced from Jamaica. So I don't know, on your dad's side, does your dad ever refer to...
De Jamaica también. Sí, vinieron a Panamá para construir el canal.
Eso. See? Sí. I love it. And so it's like this connection with Jamaica. And that's also, so imagine whenever people migrate, what comes along with that? The food. Los sabores, la manera de preparar la comida. Now tell me this. In Puerto, no, ¿cómo se llama? In Puerto Rico, when you fry and smash a plátano, they call them tostones.
Sí.
In Costa Rica, digamos patacones.
Yeah, sí.
See, I love it. I promise you. And I will tell some people about some patacones and they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. That makes me feel good.
Plátano maduro. I love all of them.
Yes. Oh, I need to go to the grocery store so I can buy me some plátano maduro and make me some patacones. I loved it. And, it's just amazing because, again, we always want to separate, right? Cultures over here, languages over here. But it really is interwoven because if culture is the brain software, as Loretta Hammond, the author of, I'm going to keep talking about this book. This book has changed. Se me ha cambiado. Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain. This is an excellent book. And it just talks so much about the neuroscience behind it, right? That we process things culturally. And even we can't necessarily, race and culture are two separate things. Because even though race would be our phenotype, the physical representation of our DNA, right? That doesn't mean that we all share the same mindsets or practices.
Exactly.
And so I think it's really awesome to learn more and more about everyone. So, Fátima, por 10 años, has sido profe de español.
Sí.
And so, wait, tell us un poquito más. You said you first started off at a private Turkish school in Nueva York.
Yeah, that was interesting, but it was really one of my best experiences, honestly. the kids were really responsive to learning, all the things that I would teach them about culture, la comida, la música. They really just loved all of it. What else?
And so were those individuals speaking Turkish as their first language and then
Yeah,
English and
yeah.
then we're learning Spanish?
And I can't remember a lot of the words, but I do remember, I think hoca means teacher, I think in Turkish. And, they were just awesome. But it wasn't just Turkish students. It was like Caribbean students went there. You had some African students too, but the majority of the people were from Turkey.
Wow.
And it was nice. I was able to go pray downstairs during my breaks off, or, different things like that. They fed us, and it was great. It was
good. They fed you. Well, the food was good, wasn't it?
Yes.
It wasn't this American public school food, was it?
Y la gente es muy amable, muy hospitalaria y todo.
Bueno. And so after, después de trabajar allí en la escuela privada, where did you go next? What was the next adventure?
Me mudé a Atlanta y estoy aquí todavía.
In ATL.
Yes. So I really like it here too. I love the natural, scenery, the greenery, everything about that is really cool. It's a nice culture here too. So yeah, I really like it here.
Awesome. So are you in a public school or private school now?
Now I'm in the public schools. Yeah, I've been about 6 years or so. Yeah.
Awesome. Yo tengo muchas ganas de visitar Atlanta. I've been through the airport, but that doesn't count. I have some good people. Now I have to add you to the list. I have some great people in Atlanta that I have like family, not family, but closest family. So I definitely have it on my list. And tracing through my grandmother's kinfolk, we go back to the Griffins, go back to Banks County, Georgia, and Hall County, Georgia, which I believe is like an hour or so north of Atlanta.
Okay.
And so we've traced it all the way back to 1870. And so I'm like, I want to go to the place where my people were, and just be outside and just breathe the air.
Yeah.
And I mean, and when you talk about the greenery, that's what I just think about. So en el invierno, ¿está frío pero no frío como en el norte?
Sí. It's cold. It gets cold.
Okay.
But it
nieva?
Yeah, sometimes a veces. Sí. Let me see how to describe it. It's usually warm. Like right now it's starting to get a little cool, we're going into fall and stuff, but it's nice. It's pleasant. It's perfect.
Would you say there's still hay 4 estaciones in Atlanta como en el norte?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. We don't really have real winters like that, but we do get snow every few years. Like I think it's snowed maybe like 6, I don't know, maybe like a few times since I've been here, like a few years, not every year. It doesn't snow every year. So that's perfect.
Okay. Look, now listen, if it wasn't the Most High bringing me back to Detroit, I would still be in El Caribe. Okay. I do love seeing the 4 seasons. I said seeing. I did not say driving.
Oh, yeah.
But I do love, especially el otoño es mi estación favorita. I just love el cambio de los colores de las hojas. And I love I love it. I love it. But then once it starts to get cold, and I think for me, it's less of el frío and more of la oscuridad, and just like días y semanas totalmente nubladas. Like I need some sunshine in my life. And so I think sometimes it's more of like just this cloudy, dark weather more than the actual cold. Thank God I can be indoors under my cover with the heat on. But looking outside and it's just gloomy. Eso no me gusta. So, aparte de ser maestra, tú eres dueña propietaria de tu negocio propio y tu negocio se llama Maestra Salaam. Is that your business name as well?
Yes.
and tell us, cuéntanos sobre tu negocio. Tell us about your business, what you have, what services and products that you or experiences that you offer. And again, everyone, you want to follow Fatima on Instagram at Maestra Salaam. And her website is maestrasalam.com. Okay, so cuéntanos, mi amor.
So it's interesting. Like I was spending a lot of time with my family right before the pandemic hit, and we were like playing a lot of juegos de mesa, like taboo and categories and for the culture, and just different, what do they call it? Board games and card games and things like
juegos de mesa.
yeah. So I was like, it would be probably a cool thing to like make something in Spanish, that bilingual families could possibly play, or maybe I can play back when we go back into school, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just kind of was like, well, let me do like a guessing game or something like that. And I just kind of thought of the different topics that might be fun, like sports and food and stuff. And yeah, I just was like, let me just, do this. And so I ended up creating KS.
Wow, right here.
Yeah.
KS. And look how cute this is, everyone. Look at this. Maestra Salaam, trademark. Don't try to steal her stuff. And so I just received my complimentary ones. Muchísimas gracias. I'm excited to play this con mi hija. And so the premise of the game is, so you tell us, guess this word. So let's see. So I read the clues out loud, and the opponent or whoever else has to guess what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So there's different topics, la comida.
Me gusta mucho. Okay, so let's try a couple right now with Maestra Salaam. Okay, here we go. Okay. Guess this word. Es un postre frío. Es dulce. Contiene leche y azúcar. ¿Qué es?
Helado.
Sí, el helado. Ay, me gusta. Ok. Una tarjeta más. Se baña aquí, se ducha aquí, se cepilla los dientes aquí.
El baño.
El baño. Perfectísimo. So you know what I'm thinking? Por supuesto, las familias pueden utilizarlas, pero también profes o sus alumnos pueden utilizar esas tarjetitas también.
Sí, sí.
Oh, it's bueno, especially with these themes, because I'm thinking about, that really would push, because as long as the students know cómo se pronuncian el abecedario, right? Y las vocales, then this will be really good. I'm thinking about right now when I do the home unit, that this will be, make sure that's under la casa or la comida, but this will be really good to have this game. And then solamente hablamos en español. Está detrás de la casa, se puede tener una parrilla, es un lugar donde los niños pueden jugar afuera. El patio, like that. Qué buena idea, me gusta mucho, mi amor.
Gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you.
Oh, wow. So, and you know what? This is really good. I can see para familias, like you said, familias bilingües, familias que están aprendiendo el español, as well as las aulas de las clases de español.
Sí. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so y'all, we need to check her out, maestrasalam.com. Follow her on Instagram, Maestra Salaam. Me gusta mucho.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the presentation of it, this looks really good. No shade to stuff that I've created en mi casa. This is bien profesional. Hecho en una fábrica, not in somebody's homemade office. Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. And I can't remember, how many years have you been, or how long have you been, you said like during the start of the pandemic?
Yeah, that's when I created it, and then I launched last year in August, so it's like a year actually. Almost.
Oh, happy anniversary! It's your anniversary. Made for you and me. Okay, so as of now, how many different sets do you have?
So right now I just have two.
Okay.
The body parts, the sports, la comida, la casa. I'm not sure what other types of card games I want to come out with yet. I was thinking more of a board game maybe next. I'm not sure. It's in the works, but yeah, I'm still, getting everything, together and stuff.
Well, I absolutely love it, and I hope everyone can support this. Do you use this en sus clases también?
Yes, I have used it, in class.
And then how did the kids receive it?
They liked it. They really did. It was fun.
I love it. I love it. I'm really excited to utilize this. Teachers, you want to tap in. We want to be able to support each other. This is a teacher created, teacher made, really good activity for practice. I see so many benefits from it. One, obviously, we always think about el vocabulario, but we want to have vocabulario en contexto. So the fact that the clues they have to read, that is reading practice. And then for the students paying attention, that's interpretation skills, right? Like they have to interpret and then make the connection to be able to adivinar, so I think that's awesome. Shout out to you, Queen, for doing this. Shout out to you, boo.
Yeah.
I love it. So how are you feeling about the brand new school year? Because you're in Atlanta, so you already started.
Yeah, we started almost a month ago. It's been about a month since we've been back. It's been great so far. I'm really excited about the new school year. I'm really enthusiastic. The kids are excited too, and hype and, all of that. So hopefully it'll go really well and,
Yeah. And what grade levels do you teach?
I teach K through 5. So
con los chiquitos. I love it. I love it. That's I've always been primarily a middle school teacher. I mean, I say always. Primarily escuela intermedia. And you know what? I love those 7th and 8th graders. I love them. The ones that think they are so tough because you want to act all hard, yet you still got some LOL doll draws on. Get out of my face. You are not some SpongeBob. Get out my face trying to act like you're grown. You're not. They want to, because their bodies are going through this change, pero de la mente, ellos son niños, okay? And so I love that age group. Pero en los últimos 4 años, I've been working with chiquitos desde kinder hasta octavo grado, and I still do one-on-ones or small groups with los chiquitos del colegio. But I love it, and I think it kind of corresponds with because of my children's ages right now. Everything is very early elementary, and now my daughter's transitioning to being middle to upper elementary. So I'm doing all those things in casa con ellos, so it just makes sense for me right now to have un enfoque con los niñitos de primaria as well.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, well, I am so thankful. Gracias por haberse tomado tiempo de pasar un rato conmigo. I am so excited. I'm telling you, I keep meeting más y más personas hermosas de Herencia, Panama. I'm not lying to you. So it's something about y'all folks from Panama. Y'all just got buenas vibras. I keep being connected. Seriously. I hope you have a wonderful, que tengan un año escolar fantástico, another year to grow, as we learn and grow along with our students, so, and I'm excited for this.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes. And look, y'all, again, follow this queen at Maestra Salaam on Instagram. Y su sitio web es maestrasalam.com. Tap in. Ok, mi amor, que tenga un día o una tarde muy buena. Adiós.
Adiós. Chao.
Chao.